Let's go. Just give it a
Let's
second.
go, baby. We're live.
What's up, everybody? What's up? Welcome Inside Fighting. Here we are going live on Instagram. Let's go. Let's see that number go up a little. Few faces join. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another weekly episode of Insider Betting. This is the show where we give you guys our best picks and predictions for whichever UFC card is coming up on the weekend. This week we have Vegas Fight Night, UFC Vegas Fight Night 109, headlined by Roman Dolidze and Anthony Hernandez, Fluffy himself, big fluffy guy over here and at Inside Fighting. But I'm excited for this card. Always excited for a good fight night. If it's a good fight night, last week was amazing. And I was 6 for 6 on my picks, 6 for 6 on my picks the week before. So I'm kind of on a heater right now, hoping to continue that momentum on this main card. I feel good about my picks. How do you feel about your picks, bro? I'm excited.
A lot of favorites on this card, like a lot of favorites. So going to be an interesting one because 2 weeks ago, we had like a bunch of dogs win. And I don't think we're going to have that this week. I think I got one dog winning, but these are the cards that screw you, man. The bad odds.
Ooh, quick Instagram comment. What do we think of Raf versus Charles? Crazy announcement today. We saw Rafael Fiziev is headlining UFC Fight Night in Rio de Janeiro versus Charles Oliveira. Pretty exciting matchup.
Is this a fight night?
Yeah, it's only a fight night. Nice. Not a pay-per-view in Rio de Janeiro, but I'm excited. Rafael Fiziev doesn't typically do so well against people who are higher ranked in the division, which Charles Oliveira is. I know he's coming off a knockout, but I love Charles Oliveira in that spot in his home crowd. So I'm going to be rooting for Charles in that one for sure.
Yeah, I think Charles has to feel like a lock. Just anytime Charles fights in Brazil, anytime a big Brazilian fighter fights in Brazil, you have to assume they're going to win. But it's going to be an interesting one because Fiziev? Either or. He's coming off of, he's got a win against Bahamondes. He lost to Gaethje before that, but not that long ago, he was like dealing with ACL issues, right? Like he came off like a massive knee injury. He went through surgery and everything. So, yeah, if he lands, I see Abe the Killer in the comments. If he lands, yes, Charles is out. Can he land? Charles also, like, besides last fight, he's pretty tough, you know. Hard to knock the guy out, but I would go with Charles the Bronx for that one, I think.
It reminds me of like a Michael Chandler matchup for Charles. He's just kind of got to stick to his game plan, which he didn't do against Ilia Topuria. He striked with Ilia Topuria and lost in the first round. I think he's going to have a smart game plan. Full camp. I'm excited for that fight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But just as excited for UFC Fight Night 109 Vegas, baby, this weekend.
I don't know about just as excited. First up, we got Eric Anders versus Christian Leroy Duncan. I think with Pico will outclass Murphy. Sorry, I got distracted by the chat. It's hard to say. Is that next week?
That's on UFC 319. I think that's a tough one to predict just because we haven't seen Aaron Pico yet. But from his training and what coaches are saying and his peers are saying, I'm probably going to bet Aaron Pico on that one straight up.
Yeah. Eric Anders upset. I could see it happen. I basically, like, what the odds say is that Christian Leroy Duncan, CLD, he's like clearly the better fighter. He's minus 550 for a reason. When you look at the stats and like on paper, you see that like striking could favor CLD, the ground game can favor Eric Anders, but in reality, Eric Anders is just like a strong athletic fighter who's going to keep putting the pressure forward. And he's got like true knockout potential. He's got 10 knockouts in his 17 wins. I think that while he's keeping that pressure forward, he's going to toss in a few takedown attempts, and that's why he averages almost 2 takedowns a fight. And that could be a problem for CLD here. But if CLD keeps his range, he lands a few good shots, lets the fight go on, he should be able to get the win. My only like red flag here is that in his last loss for CLD against Gregory Rodriguez, he was taken down 4 times and lost by decision. He's got good takedown defense on paper at 72%, but clearly it can happen. And then when you look at Eric Anders, 2 fights ago against Jamie Pickett, he took him down 5 times, who also had good takedown defense at 67%. So I think that the high pressure could get to people. Again, I think CLD is the better fighter, so he should win, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is a sneaky underdog potential here. I am still picking CLD to win, but just like most of these fights here, they're not worth betting on because the odds are just so wide.
The spread makes no sense in this fight. Like CLD being this wide of a favorite doesn't even make sense. I like him, but he's got to prove that he's this big of a favorite by knocking him out, which is going to be hard to do because Eric Anders is so tough. He's so durable. He's proven it that he could put pressure on, come back from adversity in fights. So this is kind of a toss-up in my eyes as well. But I do see more potential leaning towards the younger fighter, the taller, lengthier fighter. He's got the newer kind of style of MMA where he's not just one-dimensional. He kind of mixes up everything. And he's really good. He has heavy hands. I want to see him get into the rankings, have fights against like a Marvin Vettori and things like that to build him up even more. Where it's like if Eric Anders wins this one, it's like I don't even care to see his next opponent. I don't care to see him rise up into the rankings like that might sound a little ruthless. I don't hate the guy. I'm sure he's a great guy, but I just see more potential in CLD's career. So I'm rooting for CLD. I do think CLD is going to be able to get it done, but I could see this one going to decision, but I could see him winning unanimously.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's the odds just don't make any sense. Like when you look at these guys' last fights, like Gregory Rodriguez and Artem Petrosyan are the highest level fighters CLD's fought, and he's lost to both of them. And then you got Marc-Andre Barriault, who's probably like the biggest name, and Chris Weidman that Eric Anders has faced. But Chris Weidman was coming off of injuries, I think. I know he had that one win after injury, but then like he's obviously not the same fighter he once was. So anyway.
And CLD's last win was against Andre Puliev, who fought last weekend, and his striking was off the chains last weekend. Andre Puliev got a 2nd-round KO. So, I mean, he was able to beat him. I think his striking is just getting better. I think he puts on a performance, but I'm not sure he's going to get the knockout here. I wouldn't bet the knockout. I'd probably bet him winning by decision.
Decision is good, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone seems to be on the same page. Eddie, what's the easy money on this card? Honestly, none of them
overkill
are money.
Angela Hill.
Angela Hill. I got her too. Yeah.
That's the easy money on this card.
But it's not even easy money. Well, we'll break it down. It's in 2 fights. We'll break it down.
We'll break it down.
Miles Johns is taking on Gene Matsumoto. Gene Matsumoto is minus 310. Another pretty wide odds for this card, or for this fight. Both guys are coming off of losses. Gene Matsumoto lost to Rob Font in a pretty questionable split decision. It was his first ever loss as a pro, and he had 7 takedowns in that fight, but he was outstriked 95-77. He was cut up pretty bad, persuaded the judges a little bit. I think a lot of people called robbery, but that's I'm not the decision maker here, but it was his first loss. He's 2-1 in the UFC right now. Miles Johns coming off of a loss to Felipe Lima. Miles Johns, very well rounded. Obviously, a little bit. Well, he's not even old, but older than Gene. He's been around longer. A little bit of a vet versus prospect matchup again. He's got great wrestling. He's got knockout power. But I think for Miles Johns the issue is going to be that he's a little bit too low volume for a guy like Gene Matsumoto. Gene Matsumoto, he's fast, well-rounded. He has really, really good grappling. He can take you down. He can keep you on the ground. He's got a bit of a submission game as well. Still good on the feet as well. He's got 13 knockouts and 16 wins. So like, don't underestimate him on the feet. But he just throws higher volume. Yes, he gets hit a lot more, but to hit him more, you got to throw more punches. And Miles Johns' volume just isn't there. And I think that if he's just kind of like picking his shots and trying to get that knockout blow or trying to hurt him with one punch, I think a guy like Gene, where he's fast, agile, he's going to do a good job dodging those and countering. So I got Gene Matsumoto here. I think he should be a pretty big lock. He is 25. You never know with these young guys, but I got Gene winning.
I also agree. Gene Matsumoto, I like him. His fight against Rob Font, you mentioned. I think Miles John is a step down in competition from Rob Font. I get that he lost that fight, even though it was so close. Then now he's getting a little step down. But I think he should have gotten a step up almost. But Rob Font's surging right now. He's probably going to fight somebody like Chito Vera next or something. So that should be good for him. But Gene Matsumoto, I was there in Seattle. I thought he won that fight. I'm not sure if it's just the angle of where I was sitting that I thought he won, because Rob Font did land more on the feet. He did have the bigger moments, cut him open, which wasn't a big cut or anything. I thought the time of control that Gene Matsumoto had in that fight would have won him the match. It didn't. So a little scary here. I just don't think Miles Johns, like you said, has the output to do 90-something strikes to Gene Matsumoto, significant strikes in 15 minutes. And I think Gene will have a good game plan. He'll go land 7 takedowns if he has to land 7 takedowns, and he'll ensure himself a decision win, if anything, on this fight. But again, one of those ones where it's just like the younger fighter kind of has more in his bag. MMA, he's not just one style kind of fighter. He's kind of all over the place, which is good. Helps him in this fight for sure against an older fighter. Not old, but older. And again, I see more potential in Gene Matsumoto's career, rising up into the rankings and getting more fun matchups. I'm rooting for him, and I do think he's going to win. And I do think he's more of a lock on this main card as well.
Yeah.
Pretty good takedown defense. So I don't know
how big the takedown is going to play into effect, but if he's like consistently shooting and like he's going to land a few, even with the 81% takedown defense. But I think he's probably just got more gas in his tank being younger, so he can
mix it up very, very well. Where Miles John, he's not going to be a threat feinting takedowns and feinting all these different things. Where Gene Matsumoto is just he's more skillful everywhere. I think so.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, we got Andre Fili versus Christian Rodriguez, another 27. It's hard to say young gun or prospect, but he's the prospect killer. Christian Rodriguez, C-Rod, taking on Andre Fili, 35 years old, been in the game a little bit longer than C-Rod. Like I said, Christian Rodriguez, people know him as the prospect killer. Most famously, he beat Raul Rosas Jr. Most recently, he beat Austin Bashi, which was a big shock to everyone. I think Bashi was like a -800 favorite.
I took him. I put $500 on Bashi in that fight, and I lost.
Yeah, Bashi's a good friend of the show. Happy to see him get the win last weekend, but he didn't get the best of Christian Rodriguez. Bit of a fun fact I saw online: Christian Rodriguez has not beaten anyone with more than 2 wins in the UFC. Like he literally only beats prospects. Andre Fili, on the other hand, been around a long time. He's a bit of a taller, rangier striker for this division. I think he's liked by a lot of people. A lot of fans are fans of Andre Fili. I think he had some hype behind him, but like in reality, when you look at his record since he's been in the UFC, he's just been a fighter that alternates wins and losses. Like he can never get on a hot streak. He never gets on a cold streak. He just goes back and forth, which is literally what his record is right now. He's 2 in his last 5, and he's alternating wins and losses, most recently coming off of a loss. Both of these guys recently lost to Mel Costa, which I thought was interesting. But I think this is the perfect chance for C-Rod to take it the next step, finally beat someone who's more of a vet in the UFC instead of just prospect. I'm just not hot on Fili. That's more so where my pick's coming from. I got C-Rod to win this fight.
Yeah, never been hot on Fili myself. Saw him in Seattle against Malik Costa, where he got guillotine choked. I thought he could have fought out of it, but didn't show like the extra will to win, which I think Christian Rodriguez has that extra will to win. I thought he was showing that in his fight against Malik Costa. I had him to win that one. I thought his pressure was elite. He was the one engaging in all the pressure, the clinch, in the takedown attempts, submission attempts, striking first. So I really liked his game plan against Malik Costa. I think he does the similar game plan against Fili, pressure him against the cage, makes it tricky for Andre Fili to get off any shots, land some takedowns, go for some submission attempts. Hopefully he doesn't go for as many submission attempts and actually land some ground and pound, because I could see Christian Rodriguez getting a finish here and hurting Fili, just because I don't see that extra will to a win from Andre Fili. Like you kind of said, he's just kind of win, loss, sticking around. He has cool tattoos. But But I like Christian Rodriguez in and outside the cage. I think he's a great guy. I think he's going to win dominantly here. At least that's how I see this fight going. I don't see where Andre Philly is better than him at, maybe with some kicks and stuff, like some head kicks and stuff. But like besides that, I don't think he's going to get those off anyways because of Christian Rodriguez's pressure. Christian Rodriguez is one of my more favorited picks on this card. Who's in the main event? It's in the title, brother. Come on, brother.
You got Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez Woodwood.
Woodwood.
But anyway, no, I agree with your breakdown.
Also, Andre Philly lost to Nathaniel Wood just because Wood reminded me of that. But yeah.
What the fuck? I was just asking. Just kidding.
I don't care.
I'm just fucking with you.
I'm ruthless, Woodwood. This is my fight of the night. This is my fight of the night.
Love from Toronto, Canada. We're from Winnipeg. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. Let's go. Yeah, feature fight of the night. We got Yasmin Lucindo versus Angela Hill. Kind of a snooze fest.
No, this one's fireworks.
This one's fireworks. I feel like every time I break down Angela Hill, I talk about how old she is. I count her out, and she just ends up winning every time. She's 3 in her last 5. She's only had losses to Tabitha Ritchie and Mackenzie Dern. Both are ranked higher than both of these fighters. They're ranked 6 and 7 in the division. Yasmin Lucindo is 8, bit of a red flag. But you have then you have Yasmin Lucindo, who's coming off a loss to Amanda Lemos, who's also really, really solid. It's a bit of a weird one. Appreciate it, Woodwood. I gotta know a first name here, bro. It's a bit of a weird one on paper because everything says Yasmin Lucindo should win. She's younger. She should be hungrier. She's better on the ground. She's a little bit calm on the feet, but that's because she's just going to shoot the takedowns, try to hold up against the fence, just kind of try to get control time. But I feel good about Angela Hill.
There it is. Let it out.
She might get taken down a couple times, yes, but she's going to get back up and she's going to dominate on the feet. Like her volume is like same as which fight did I say this for as well? For Miles Johns and G Matsumoto. Volume plays a big role, especially against these young guys. In this fight, in the other fight, it was the old guy, low volume, young guy, high volume, not good for that's good for the young guy. In this scenario, it's the exact opposite. Angela Hill is high volume. Yasmin Lucindo, the younger prospect, she's low volume. I think she might just get overwhelmed by Angela Hill's pressure. Angela Hill is my first and only dog pick for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I took the favorites in the first 2 fights. I took the younger fighter. I said that their skill set's more everything. But this one, forget what I've been saying. Because Angela Hill, I wouldn't say she gets better and better. She's kind of always been just really good at what she does. And yeah, her age, this and that. She got custom shorts in this fight. She's got custom shorts,
really?
bro.
I didn't even see that.
Yes, she has custom shorts.
But you see, like, the thing with the age is, like, she doesn't really gas, and it's only a 3-round fight. So, like, I don't know how much age is going to be a factor.
No, and she just came off of fighting a younger fighter and winning a decision there. I think she could get a finish in this one. Oh, my goodness. That's crazy to say you're picking a finish in a chick fight.
Bro.
But I really do. Yo, we saw Yasmin Lucindo in UFC 313 in Vegas. The most boring fight I've ever seen in my whole life. I thought she would have got cut by the UFC after that one. In the whole 15-minute fight, there were 16 significant strikes, bro. It was on the ground for 15 minutes. That was the most boring fight I've ever seen in my whole life.
16 strikes and 4 takedowns. Like, come on.
And Angela Hill, she puts on the pace on these fighters, bro. She doesn't have to take it to the ground. She can mix in the grappling. She's kind of like the Christian Rodriguez, bro. She's gonna fraud check all these freaking prospects with pressure, clinch control, takedown attempts, and good striking. She's gonna land, I think, 100 strikes on Yasmin Lucindo. And if she can't get it done with that kind of pressure, I don't know how she's gonna do against other fighters in going up the rankings. But this one is kind of perfect for her as an underdog. I love it. I'm gonna lay this one probably. So I feel good about it. I think everyone should feel good about it.
Straight up, bro.
Hill is a great dog play.
Toss the entire bag. on Angela Hill.
This is fight of the night. This is pick of the card. This is whatever you want to call it, Super Diddy whale play, whatever you want to call this one. This is the lock, guys. This is the Angela Hill lock.
Crazy.
She should not be a favorite after landing, I think, 12 strikes. 12
Yeah, it was 12-4.
Oh my God,
crazy,
bro. That
bro.
actually
It's crazy.
stresses me out. That makes me so mad. So Angela Hill, and also just a great girl. She's company girl. Everybody loves Angela Hill. You can't say you don't. She's a veteran now. And she trains with the best. She trains with dogs like Jared Cannonier. And I think it's Extreme Couture. I could be wrong on that. But she trains in a really good gym. She's supported by all the UFC and the UFC peers. Give me Angela Hill. She's going to fight. She's going to be the one fighting with more heart in this fight. I don't see Lucindo fighting with any amount of will to win. Similar, like I said, to the last fight, the will to win just won't be there from Lucindo. And Angela Hill has custom shorts. That's will to win.
I think you like this. Habib in the chat here. Just like Magny last week. We were separate on this fight last week.
Oh, yeah, and I cashed, and I said Neil Magny knockout.
People always sleep on them, dog. People always sleep on them. Co-main event. Bit of a weird one again. Steve Erceg versus Ade Osborne. This is Steve Erceg's debut in the bantamweight division. I don't think he's trying to move up to bantamweight is what I was going to get at. There was supposed to be another fight before this. He was supposed to fight Alex Perez, who pulled out of the fight. I tried looking online. It doesn't look like there's anything official as to why he pulled out. But that was supposed to be a flyweight fight. So I think what just happened is that it was too short notice for Ade Osborne. Steve Erceg's like, I'm about the same size as this guy. I can fight at bantamweight if that's what he wants. Steve Erceg, he was ranked, I believe, 8th in the flyweight division. He got his title opportunity. People were like, maybe he's got a chance. Goes and fights Alexander Pantoja. People are like, he loses by decision. People are still like, oh, that was actually a decent fight. Steve Erceg didn't look half bad here. Maybe he's got potential. Then goes on to lose 2 fights in a row against Kai Kara France and Brandon Moreno. I actually don't hate the play of him moving up to bantamweight if he has a good outing here, because he's fought all the top guys in the flyweight division. He's lost to all of them. Try something new. You still got some hype besides your name. But what's it called? Steve Erceg in the UFC is known for his striking, which is really interesting because he's got a wrestling background. He was a national champion in Australia. He just doesn't take advantage of his wrestling game too much. But it is there. And I think this is the fight where he'll probably want to use it. I think his game plan should be wrestling. You got Ade Osborne, who's coming off of a win against Louis Gurule, I don't know, where he won by knockout. Half of Ade Osborne's wins are by knockout. But just like half of his wins are by knockout, half of his losses are by submission. And I like that play for Steve Erceg here. I think that he's got to take advantage of the wrestling. I think he's got to take it to the ground. If it comes back on the feet, he should be able to hang for a little bit. But I think he's got a big advantage there that he should take advantage of. Even if he's not shooting offensive takedowns, if the fight gets to the ground, keep it there and go for the submission attempt, because I think that's Ade Osborne's weakness, perhaps. And I think Steve Erceg can make something happen of it.
Man, this one I guess it just doesn't make sense to me. I've been trying to figure out who I wanted to pick for this one. The short notice kind of makes me lean towards Steve Erceg. He's had a full training camp. He should be able to mix in his grappling, and just the way he's talking about this fight in the media, he's like, he thinks he's one loss away from getting cut from the UFC. So if he's actually fighting with that kind of mentality, don't have to make this a stand and bang war against one of bantamweight's like strikers who could actually put people away. Ade Osborne has serious striking advantage against a lot of bantamweights. He has that finishing potential where Steve Erceg doesn't really have that finishing potential in flyweight, but I guess that's what got him the title shot. We all thought he did have the power. He beat Matt Schnell, and then that got him a title fight with Pantoja, which made no sense. And then he's losing ever since. I guess I'm an Erceg hater. I made videos making fun in the past. I don't really believe that he's the smartest fighter. Like, he could have beat Pantoja in a sense. He could beat Moreno in a sense if he just fought a little smarter. But it's going to be the output that Steve got to get in the if he's got to go range.
I don't know if it's me or
He
you,
has
bro,
that.
but you're cutting out a little bit. Can you hear me
He
okay?
definitely has potential. Yes, sir. He has potential to get knocked out if he stays at the end of Ode Osborne's shots. But yes, he has to mix in the grappling. Hopefully he's paid attention into all the MMA accounts breaking down this fight because everyone's telling him to grapple, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets cut if he loses here against Ode Osborne. So he's got to get a win. I'm probably going to lean towards Steve Versag decision as well. But if I wouldn't throw this one in a parlay, and I wouldn't be shy to put a few bucks on Ode Osborne by knockout. I think that's a fun one. But yeah, I'm probably going to fade this fight, although Steve Versag decision is probably the smarter play to bet.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to hit up some messages in the chat here real quick. To stay on topic before I go to your question, Woodwood. Ode has been working on his grappling. We'll see, I guess. You know, like I really do think the wrestling is an advantage for Steve Versag in this fight, even if Ode has been working on it. In that same breath, you said that you think Ode will crack him a few times and Versag will wrestle and win rounds 29-28 decision. I could see that happening very well. Like like Cody said, I think it could be a decision fight. I think there is the submission potential. Like I'd probably bet on sub or decision for Steve Versag to win. But Ode can definitely land a few big shots. And who knows, if he lands a few big ones early, like that could change the entire trajectory of the fight. Off topic real quick. Chimaev or DDP. We actually had we have team calls every Monday at Inside Fighting where we all kind of chat about things. And this topic came up and the entire Inside Fighting team said DDP. Before I go on, Cody, you still on DDP or did you change your mind now that I said that?
I've low-key been changing my mind, bro. I'm seeing
so.
too much on Hamza,
so.
bro. I'm seeing too much on Hamza, bro. I've actually
That's
seen way
so
too
funny.
much stuff coming up from Hamza camp and just how he's training. And I don't think cardio is going to be the problem, which we all mentioned on the call. Oh, we don't think it's cardio. Bro, he doesn't have to get the first round knockout. If he just lays on DDP somehow, that's exciting, bro. And he stood up with Gilbert Burns. He had good hands. I think his hands have probably gotten better. I could see Hamza pulling it off somehow. And then he wants to fight in October. He wants to fight in Abu Dhabi. He wants to fight JDM. He wants to fight Islam. He wants to fight everybody. I kill everybody. I don't know if I could bet against that.
Yeah. There's I like what the chat's saying is that they think the fight's going to be close. Like one of the predictions is Hamza beats DDP by decision 48-47. See, I think it's a close fight, and like the odds just don't suggest that. Like Hamza is a 2-1 favorite right now, which I think is pretty nuts. Like I think a lot of people, or at least the odds makers, are undervaluing DDP. I think cardio is going to be the biggest question mark. We just haven't seen Hamza have to go the full. He's never fought a 5-round fight, I don't think, before. Even if he has, he's never gone a full 5 rounds. The only time we saw him go, I think, to decision was with Kamaru Usman, right? Or maybe did that one decision? Yeah. And that one was like the biggest question mark in Hamzat's wins, you know, is like, oh shit, like Kamaru Usman kind of gave him a run for his money. What else could happen? And Kamaru Usman on short notice as well. So I think DDP's got a real chance. I want to bet on DDP, but I think like I have to bet on Hamzat. Like he is the better overall fighter. And the only thing is a cardio question. And you'd assume with the guy who's had some time off and he knows that, hey, I'm not going to get many of these chances because I don't fight often. I've pulled out of fights before. Like the UFC doesn't necessarily love me. I got to take advantage of this fight to like build my name back up. And you'd assume that cardio would be the first thing he takes care of. But at the same time, like it's hard to get on DDP's level of cardio because the guy just doesn't tire out. So we'll see. We'll see.
And his striking isn't at that elite level where it's like, oh, I'm scared of him landing a knee on a takedown attempt, or I'm scared of him landing some high kicks, or I'm scared of him doing this. I'm not really scared of. I don't think Hamza Chimaev is scared of anybody, but I definitely don't think he's scared of DDP.
Yeah, I agree with you. But good thing we broke down middleweight championship fight next week because we got the middleweight main event this week. Roman Dolidze taking on Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. I know you had a moment in Seattle, Cody, and I hate to bring it up, but Cody got a one-on-one exclusive interview post-win with Fluffy, and the audio didn't work. So we never posted it, but Cody got to meet Anthony. They got to chit-chat a little bit. He's coming off of a win against Brendan Allen, tying Cal Baralho for the second longest active win streak in the middleweight division after DDP. They both have 7 wins. DDP has 9. And if he wins this fight and makes it 8 fights in a row, I could see a title eliminator fight between Anthony Hernandez and Kai Baralho, which would be an interesting fight. Kai is ranked a lot higher than Anthony. Like, I think he's ranked 5th right now, which is interesting. But I kind of see that being the next up in the division, depending on how this the championship fight goes. Anthony Hernandez, he's just an absolute workhorse who's going to wrestle fuck you the entire fight to win. In his last 6 wins alone, he's got – cheers, Woodwood. Appreciate you, brother. In his last 6 wins alone, he's got 39 takedowns, bro. That's over 6 takedowns per fight. That's nuts. But Roman Dolidze, he's riding a 3-fight win streak, which isn't 7, but it's still pretty fucking solid. He's a heavy hitter, known for his striking, but at the same time, he's got high level grappling as well. That just doesn't use as much as someone like Fluffy. He switches it up more in fights, where Fluffy, you just know what he's going to do. And he's got a Marab type of approach to his fights. But this fight kind of feels like betting against Marab in his fights. You want to do it. You think the other guy has a chance, and then Fluffy's going to come in there and just wrestle fuck him, get 10 takedowns, and win the fight by decision. Dolidze has the puncher's chance that if he lands a few big shots in the first or second round, it might make Fluffy hesitate a little bit on the takedowns, which could help him ride out to a decision win. There is a chance for a knockout win. I don't necessarily see it happening, but never say never. I'm going with Fluffy for this one. I think he's minus 345 for a reason. When I first saw this fight before breaking it down, I said Fluffy automatically. Once I broke it down, I was 50-50, but I'm still going Fluffy.
Yeah, Fluffy's on a 7-fight win streak right now. He's beating everybody. He's probably a fight away from fighting for the title. I mean, maybe they could even set up an RDR versus Anthony Hernandez for a #1 contender fight. But we got to see Kyle Bahal, Nazadim Imirov as well. So he could fight the winner of that as well. But with his momentum, if he gets through Roman Dolidze here.
I forgot that fight's happening.
Early, yeah, that's the #1 contender fight.
That's the next one. Yeah, that's the next title eliminator. Yeah, RDR would be cool, but it'd be 2 wrestlers, in a sense, going up against each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like that you immediately opened up this fight breakdown with me messing up the audio on meeting Anthony Hernandez. Everybody take a look. Take a look. That's me and Fluffy. Me and Fluffy talking, chatting post-fight. No audio. We did get a nice picture, though. That is my guy. I do love Fluffy. But I wasn't necessarily too impressed with his performance against Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen was able to kind of cut him open and have moments in that fight, although the relentless pressure of Anthony Hernandez did get him the win. Now, with everything being said of my love for Anthony Hernandez, I love Banff, I love Anthony Hernandez. I do think the Georgian probably has a power advantage in this one. I think their cardio is literally the same. Everyone's kind of glazing Anthony Hernandez's cardio. It's just the relentless pressure on the grappling. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, I believe, so he's got that skill set. But I think Roman Dolidze, where he has a huge advantage in this fight, is if he goes to the ground with Anthony Hernandez, he's not going to be looking to take his back or lock in some sort of choke like Brendan Allen did. He's going to be looking for elbows and damage and a finish. I think Roman Dolidze is going to get him out of there in 25 minutes. I feel really strongly on the Roman Dolidze underdog pick here. I don't see a lot of people picking it, which makes me almost like it even more. But I love Anthony Hernandez. If he wins here, give him a freaking title shot. I love Anthony Hernandez, but I just think this one, I don't like this matchup for him. I look like Anthony Hernandez against a lot of other guys, Brandon Allen, Vittori, Paulo Costa, freaking Romy Kopilov, freaking whoever. He beats all those guys. He beats Israel Adesanya. He beats Sean Strickland. He beats these guys. But Roman Dolidze, something about him. In his last fight, he really impressed me. It's back in the Apex. He just fought against Marvin Vettori. That fight didn't even go to the ground. I think Roman Dolidze here is going to be able to keep him up, hurt him, be the one who gets him to the ground, and be the one who does the damage on the ground. I don't think he's at risk of getting submitted. That's why I'm betting Roman Dolidze here.
Yeah, this is probably the toughest fight for both of these guys, for fighters in the top 10 of the middleweight division that don't have fights booked right now. Like the other fighters on here are Jared Cannonier, Whitaker, Adesanya. Really, that's it. And Izzy just hasn't fought in a while. Izzy's probably a tougher opponent than both these guys for each other, but still.
This kind of reminds me of the main event 2 weeks ago with RDR and Robert Whitaker, where it's like, I'm going to bet RDR to win. And if Robert Whitaker wins, I'm not going to be mad. If I'm going to bet Roman Dolidze here to win, if Anthony Hernandez wins, I'm not going to be mad. It's just where I just think he's at that point of his career where he could win a decision here. I really do think that, or he could find a finish. I think he's going to be the one coming out of this fight with his face cleaner, not as much strikes shown. So I think he wins the decision if it goes there. I really liked his output in his last fight. And Anthony Hernandez doesn't have this crazy output on the striking. He doesn't have these crazy wars on the feet. He always finds his way to get it to his game plan, get it to where he wants the fight to go. And I think Roman Dolidze is just too tough for him to dominate in that sense. So I think Roman Dolidze is going to win a decision here or find a finish.
Yeah, no, it's fair game. Again, I definitely see the Dolidze route. But urologist, interesting. Thank you, Dr. Penner. Good afternoon.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank Doc. Or is it?
This one's tough though. This is a heartbreaker. I'm gonna be even rooting for Anthony Hernandez. I just think Roman Dolidze is gonna do him dirty. I do.
Yeah. No, I feel you. But anyway, that wraps up UFC Vegas 109 for us. UFC 319 next week. You got Hamza taking on DDP in the main event. I'll pull up the fights here. I don't even remember what other fights are on the card. I think it's a pretty good one. It's in Chicago, right?
Yes, sir. A lot of good fights.
Yeah, you got Leroy Murphy taking on Aaron Pico, Jeff Neal, Carlos Prates. Interesting fight. Jared Cannonier taking on MVP. Cannonier retirement fight. Who knows? He's 41 now, 42.
Coming off a win. Big win.
Coming off a win. You're right. Tim Elliott versus Kaya Sakura. That should be fun as well. But yeah, great fights great fights happening next week. But before then, we go live every single Thursday, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Cody goes live every single Saturday for a watch party. So if you're bored watching the fights by yourself, join Cody. He's won money 2 weeks in a row, 12 for 12 on his picks. This week, we'll see what happens. I think he'll have a good run because we're on the same side of every fight except for the last one. So he should have a pretty good run. And then we got insider picks coming out right now, or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. 4 p.m. Central. So in 20 minutes, we have insider betting coming out with Mike Owens. He's our head reporter. He does the most fighter interviews or the most UFC related interviews every single month, more than any other reporter. He does anywhere between 20 and 30 interviews every single month. Absolutely crushes it out of Liverpool. So it's less boring to watch because you can be entertained by his accent. But anyway, as always, big thank you to DraftKings for sponsoring these episodes. And yeah, anything else to add, Cody?
No, I'm excited. Come join my watch party on Saturday. Let's have fun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all. Peace.